Lauren. What exactly happened here, and how were ex-employees on this meeting?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. So essentially what happened is Peloton did hold this all-hands meeting yesterday. Again, that was the day after they reported quarterly results. And this is a pretty typical thing for the company to do these meetings the day after those results come out, right? But this event obviously, was more highly anticipated, as others have been, as Peloton was introducing its new CEO, Barry McCarthy, to the entire employee base. Now, I learned that there were some laid-off employees that were able to gain access to that meeting. It's not exactly clear how that ultimately happened, but again, you could see in this chat section just some angry comments beginning to circulate about, just how these people feel about the company. And, as you can imagine, employees that were just laid off might have some bitter feelings toward Peloton. Now, to be fair, you did see some comments coming through of people really optimistic and supportive of Barry McCarthy, incoming CEO, and really what he can do to hopefully right the ship at Peloton. A day earlier, I also obtained an email that Barry McCarthy sent to Peloton employees where he really laid the groundwork for his vision of a turnaround and what he can do at Peloton. On multiple occasions in this email, he said that Peloton is positioned to be a comeback story, the great comeback story post-COVID. So certainly that's how Barry feels coming into this position. But again, Peloton announced about 2,800 layoffs earlier in the week. That's 2,800 people kind of circulating in the workforce now looking for jobs, and might have some harsh feelings still toward the company for how they handled those layoffs.
Yeah, and comeback story is certainly the headline from an investor standpoint, given the dramatic rise we've seen in the stock this week, although shares are under pressure a little bit this morning. We can talk about the supply chain issues. We can talk about waning consumer demand, changes in executive leadership. But how does this situation, Lauren, also speak to what might end up having to be an overhaul in terms of corporate culture as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that this, what really shook out during this meeting, that really speaks to yet another item on Barry McCarthy's to-do list, right? And that's improving company morale. I've heard from multiple folks that still work at the company who, are considering other jobs. I mean, you can only imagine, and I certainly am not in this position myself, of just what it's like there to work there right now when you've lost so many of your coworkers. I mean, I think that the entire company is going through a bit of a reset right now, trying to figure out, what priorities are moving forward. That's, again, Barry McCarthy's job to kind of set the tone. But he said in this message that he still plans to work very closely with John Foley, obviously the Peloton founder and former CEO. So, again, morale, very important, right? And I think you need that, arguably, to have that really strong employee morale before you can do anything else and be successful as a business. So can only imagine that that's going to be very top of Barry McCarthy's to-do list.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.